All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reflect on segment one, we talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We also got a couple of bombshell, spoiler alerts for tonight's WWE NXT. Can't wait to watch it. It's going to be dope. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys to always use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your questions, shoot me some statements. Let's just talk wrestling 1010% all the time. Love seeing you guys, chatting. Definitely makes the podcast a hell of a lot better with you guys, here watching and, kind of contributing because, like this, it's a podcast, it's a show, but ultimately I kind of want this to be like a nice little ongoing conversation. It's kind of cool. I love to be schooled. I'm not. I love criticism. I kind of approach certain aspects of my life. I'm like, hey, what can they teach me? Like, you know what I mean. So remember to use the GSMCpodcast.net with your questions. This really helps the show, guys. Leave a positive review here at the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity. And again, the link is at the GSMC podcast.net. So let's jump into our WWE NXT preview. I got another chat from Little Fettuccine 68 is I would love to see Randy and Gunther rematch this Friday night since Randy's shoulders were not down. And you're right. They were never down. Like, I don't know. I knew kind of Gunther was going to get the nod to be the new king of the ring. I just, the way they kind of did it, I loved how when he fought Randy Orton, it showed like kind of like a vulnerability of Gunther. It showed that like, yeah, yes, this man could be beaten. Yes, this man does have weaknesses, and just the way it kind of all happened, I kind of wrote some notes down in the way I remember seeing it. I watched it, I watched it live, and the moment that match ended, I kind of, I looked over at my wife and I was like, that was it's kind of trash. You had that build up, that awesome build up that ultimately ended kind of harshly. So yeah, let's get into our WWE NXT preview. We have NXT champion Trick Williams will team up with the up and comer Javon Evans to battle Gallus. Gallus, ever since they made their debut, well, not debut, ever since they returned to WWE NXT, it's been absolutely chaos, man. They are leaving their mark everywhere on the NXT roster. They're fighting everybody, dude. Like, it's crazy. Well, the total heels. I love that. Definitely. Like, I see Javon Evans absolutely becoming more a part of the WWE NXT developmental system. I would love to kind of see him and Trick Williams fight for the WWE NXT World Championship. You kind of still have that match with Noam Dar approaching that battleground, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to kind of see because Javon Evans has probably been more impressive than I've ever seen anybody, more than Noam Dar. And I'm gonna say that. And I do love Noam Dar. Obviously he's a small dude. I'm a small dude. He's a wrestler trying to fight these behemoths, these physical specimens, and he's putting up a fight. He's able to, night in, night out, put on, pretty awesome, like just matches that kind of just sucks you in, and you're like, man, holy crap, Noam Dar's the real deal, yo, like this guy. So I, gotta pay respects. Gotta pay respects. So, ever since they returned to NXT, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang have terrorized the NXT locker room. Of course, you kind of see that, and then of course, in the NXT North American Championship picture as well. So Gallus is, they've done a great job. As soon as the WWE NXT draft, no WWE draft kind of took place, you saw a couple superstars like, like Lyra Valkyria. You saw Blair Davenport, you saw Dijak, you saw Carmelo Hayes, Baron Corbin, Braun Breaker, and you're like, oh, it's going to be interesting to see how NXT kind of bounces back. And Gallus did that. That's one of the best things that one of the huge compliments that I have to give toward NXT, Shawn Michaels, and, during his, his tenure as the WWE NXT, kind of like a CEO, like, you know what I mean? I feel like him and Triple H are kind of running it, in the back with, good team, good chemistry. The Generation X produces WWE NXT. I think that's pretty badass. I thought that's, I love DX, love DX. So next we have rapper Sexy Red comes to NXT. One of music's biggest stars is coming to NXT. Sexy Red makes her WWE, her way to the WWE performance. I guess she's been a huge WWE fan. I've never really, and this could be bad because I don't really focus on pop culture, so to speak. Like, I don't know, I'm probably going to get scrutiny about this, but I never really knew who Taylor Swift was until she started dating Travis Kelce. And I know, if you're a Swiftie out there, you're like, how dare you? No, but like, I didn't like, of course, I knew that she was a country singer. And one of those things where like you hear her on the radio be like, oh, that was a song by Taylor Swift, Love Story. And like, and then as soon as like it hits you in the face, you're watching football and she's dating Travis Kelce and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like maybe she is actually a bigger star than I thought she was. I kind of put her in that category of like Doja Cat and like, of like Ariana Grande. And I'm like, like, oh yeah, they sing, but they're not, like who really cares? Who gives a damn about Taylor Swift? You know what I mean? But as soon as she, started dating Travis Kelce, and obviously, like I said before, I will definitely get a lot of lashback about this because there was like, all the Swifties out there be like, how could you not know who Taylor Swift is? Because it's not my cup of tea. I don't really kind of listen to that type of music. For me, I know, I listen to a lot of oldies. Definitely love oldies. Definitely love like a lot of 80s, 90s kind of rock. My playlist features songs like the Beatles. Also, freaking Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Sledgehammer. And I don't know. I'm an old soul. I'm an old soul. So let's move on. Like I said, she was a lifelong WWE fan, and she posted her love for NXT, including the NXT champion Trick Williams. Ooh. So she's going to be live tonight. I guess I can't wait to see what they decide to do with her character, so to speak. So we find out who NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez's battleground opponent will be. Should be interesting to kind of find out. My man, Little Fenachini 68 said it's Jordan Grace. Yeah, I'm not doubting you, my man. I can't wait to watch and to see it for myself. And if it's true, Jordan Grace is going to be a huge superstar. She's going to be probably one of the biggest free agents picked up by WWE. I know there was a lot of speculations that said after AEW's Double or Nothing, there was kind of people saying that it's just a matter of time until Stephanie McMahon or Nick Khan, try to find a way to kind of merge with AEW, which wouldn't be which wouldn't be bad, because sometimes you have partnerships like AEW does with Impact TNA Wrestling. Is they have little stints here and there. You saw Jordan Grace at the WWE Women's Royal Rumble this year. It's honestly, I love kind of the how WWE is kind of rolling here. Post the Vince McMahon era so far has been one of the best. One of the best. Like obviously, I love the Attitude Era, love the ruthless aggression era. There's a little time and stint where you kind of had weird storylines or weird character developments and stuff like that. But I think ultimately WWE is doing it right. If you have to kind of try to insert yourself into the professional wrestling world that doesn't involve WWE, because that's something WWE has done for such a long time. You kind of alienate yourself. You kind of leave yourself on this own little branch and, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, love WWE, you doing it on your own, that's cool and all. But what about the fans? What about the fans who love Ring of Honor? What about the fans who love TNA Impact Wrestling, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance? Like, I've always kind of, condoned, I've always kind of advocated for the idea of, wrestling kind of being on one big broader spectrum. Why do we have to choose either or product? Obviously, there's a whole lot of talent, so you got to split them into shows and kind of merging as one would kind of make no sense because be like, oh, which title means more? The AEW World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion? Like, like it, you keep these shows, you got to keep these old, they're separate entities, to kind of, for the business to kind of make sense. So, but it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens with that. Next, we saw Kaylani Jordan. She's going to tango with Ren Sinclair in the NXT qualifying match. Of course, you've seen the Sol Ruka, Last Legend, and Jada Parker and Fallon Henry qualified. We need 2 more spots, and they will be determined tonight for that 6-pack ladder match to determine who will be the inaugural WWE Women's NXT North American Champion. And then you saw Mi Chen. She's returning to NXT to fight Tatum Paxley in a battleground qualifying match. And finally, we have Rich Holland and Riley Osborne finally duking it out. Rich Holland, for the longest time, wants someone to trust him, wants to show that, he's been placed in, like, such kind of, like, different circumstances. Like, he's been, if there was a Murphy's Law for WWE, Rich Holland would probably be like the spokesperson of that. But that's just me. That's just my what I'm thinking here. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be kind of crazy. I think ultimately Rich Holland will pick up the victory, but it's gonna be interesting to kind of see them kind of moving forward for Chase U, with Thea Hale. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how today pans out. So yeah, WWE NXT is live right now at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, I believe. Next, we have AEW's future looking pretty bright. AEW's Double or Nothing was absolutely stellar. Definitely one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen in terms of wrestling, not just AEW, but wrestling. So we're gonna dig into why AEW and maybe exactly what do they have to continue doing to kind of stay accomplished and kind of keep this momentum moving in the right direction. So hey, don't go anywhere.